Hi guys, AliTaylor here, and today we're going to have a look at the whole family of Ping irons for 2016. So we've got G Max, we've got G, I, and S55. So we're middle of January, and technically speaking, G30 is still in the range, but as the stocks kind of dwindle on that will drop out of the range. So these 4 irons will be in there for the whole of the year. We're going to hit 4 shots with each, using flight scope, got it on normalized mode, give you guys a bit of a talk through kind of how Ping are pitching these different models at different golfers and to see how they perform differently when you hit the shots. So we're going to start with G Max, and Ping very much marketed as hitting this a long way. This is their longest ever iron. So big, thick top, chunky top line, very long from kind of toe to heel as well. So this looks like something that will hit the ball a long way. And it doesn't disappoint, feels very quick off the face, really gets it out there. For me, Ping are marketing this at your mid to high handicapper, or maybe at the guy, slightly lower handicap who really struggles getting the ball in the air. Very low centre of gravity and lots of speed across the face. And like I said, when I did my review video, it's very easy to hit and absolutely no issue getting the ball in the air. It is only a 7-iron, and I'm hitting 7-iron in all of these. Same setup with each club as well, so it gets it as similar as I can. And yeah, I mean, G Max is just phenomenally easy to hit. So one final one. For me personally, doesn't fit my eye, and I don't love the feel of this. But I can definitely see why this will appeal to a lot of golfers out there. So we're going to lose G Max, and we're going to move on to the latest addition to the family, which is the Ping G iron. So very similar technology to the G Max. Again, really looking to get more and more speed, not just off the middle of the club face, but off all the club face. But where I think Ping have done a great job with this model particularly is I think the G range has always performed really well. Hasn't always suited everybody with looks, and maybe hasn't looked like it appeals as a better players club. I think they've addressed that with this. I mean, this for me is going to be aimed at probably high single figures to mid handicappers predominantly. But still phenomenally quick off the face. And even though for me this looks completely different to G Max, I still think it gets the ball up and gets the ball out there. I mean, I know we've had these in less than a week for fittings, and we've already done 3 sets. If you're a guy who loves Ping, particularly the G range, you've got to try the G iron. A little towards the toe, but still very good. One final shot with G. Just still ridiculously easy to hit. And I think what Ping have done great is Ping have always marketed themselves as they make very accurate golf clubs. Maybe to an extent, given other manufacturers a bit of a head start on how far they're hitting the ball, predominantly down to lofts. So the loft on G Max and G is 30.5 degrees. So that's straight faced. You know, for me, that's like a 6-iron. But it still gets the ball up and flying. So that's where it is very good. 32 degrees with the I. So we're maybe expecting this one to not hit it quite as far. And this one certainly isn't aimed at your high handicappers. Again, smaller blade, thinner top line, looking more like a player's club. But still, so easy to hit. And that's what I like with all the Ping product. It maybe gives different golfers a different abilities, that choice of clubs and how they look and how they can perform, but they're still all very, very forgiving. Again, great. So last couple with eye, and probably for me, certainly out of the three so far, the eye is the one that visually fits my eye the best. Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. And the eye club, the eye iron looks like one that I could shape the ball and control the trajectory with a little bit more. But I'm just hitting normal shots for now with these. And again, you know, I know from my review video, you don't have to hit the eye right out the middle to get good performance. So we're going to switch on to the S55. Now, S55 very much aimed at low handicap, pros, guys I think that have in the past played blades. Ping aren't going to make blades. You know, I went on a recent trip to the factory, and everything that they talk about when they're there and in some of the videos we watch with Ping are about designing clubs to help you play better golf and make it easier to play. So they definitely still believe in that perimeter weighting. Even though there's not a lot of it in S55, it's still there. So yeah, put that behind the ball. Tiny head, thin top line, looks more like the kind of club I grew up with. Fortunately though, still got that bit of forgiveness in there. Now, what I'm finding interesting as I'm going through the clubs, obviously different lofts. So this one's 34, so 34, 32, 30 and a half for the other two. But still hit the ball high, still gets the ball up, gets it out there. Now I think certainly when you look at the designs of the clubs, you would probably expect G-Max to launch an awful lot higher than S55. Looking with my eye, there's not a huge difference in the flight. The beauty is for you guys, we're not just going to go off what I'm seeing and you're not. We're going to look at some numbers after this shot and see how the clubs actually perform. One final one. Yeah, I could hit any of those and they just all look very, very good. Okay guys, so we've gone through the four models. Let's look at some numbers on Flight Scope and give you some more scientific feedback as to how the ball flies with the clubs. Okay guys, so surprisingly for me, the eye iron actually hits it as far as G Max and G. Didn't surprise me that S55 was down on distance. It's down on ball speed. It's not designed to be hot off the face like the others are. But certainly, the S55 spins like I would expect. Surprisingly for me, the G actually spun better than the I. So that was interesting from my perspective. Granted, I'm only hitting 4 shots with each. And actually the G iron launched the lowest, whereas you'd expect the S55 to maybe launch the highest because it's got the most loft on there. But total height of shot, almost identical with every single club. Right guys, so we've looked at the 4 models. And for me, if we read how these clubs are designed and how they're marketed, we would, I think, expect to see some very different launch angles, spin rates, total height of shot and distances. Surprisingly, they were very, very close to each other. I mean, S55 kind of stood out from the other 3. On distance, it was a lot shorter. But the other 3 were very, very similar. Now, does it mean that the clubs don't do what Ping claim? I don't necessarily think so, because I think if I took a mid-handicapper, and I'll maybe try and do this, and got them to hit the same clubs set up correctly for them, I think you'd see more of a difference between, certainly between G-Max and I. I do think you'd see a bigger difference. I think probably what you see with me is my skill level, which you guys will comment below as to how my skill level is, but with my skill level, perhaps I managed to do whatever I need to do in the swing to get the ball to do what I want. So there is that argument that if I get something that sits and looks like it'll pop it up in the air, maybe I get a bit more shaft lean in order to get that flight. If I've got something that I don't think's lofted enough, maybe the shaft lean isn't quite as great. It's not something I consciously try and do. Like I say all the time for you guys, if you watch this and think, do you know what, I want to go and try those ping clubs, go and try them, hit them for yourself, see how they perform. In fact, do me a favour, if any of you guys do it and try the different ones, drop me a comment below and let me know how you found the different models and how differently they perform for you. But for me on this test, probably visually, the one that I looked and felt was best was I. Probably looking at my numbers though, probably the one that I would be best with in my bag would be G. Certainly as I get to those longer irons, keeping the ball in the air, having enough spin to land it on the green. So they're close to each other in the family, but maybe the G would be better for me than I. Again, I could hit them with a few different clubs and see how that performs. But guys, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and share it. Leave comments below, as always. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hopefully see some of you guys down here in the future. Stay in contact.